to Offside Traps. We have with us Dan Fox.
Hello.
Adam Meppen.
Hi.
Flan.
Hello.
And me, David Finn. And this is the football podcast with a twist. This is where we have Dan, Meps, Flan, who are avid football supporters. Dan being a Fulham supporter, Meps being a Man U fan, Flan an Arsenal man, and me a nowhere man. I don't support any team, but the point of this podcast is for me to learn as much as I can about football from these fully knowledgeable blokes, and hopefully I'll be able to graduate with a diploma in football literacy sometime soon. Now today we have a very special treat for our listeners, and we're going on a field trip to watch a live match. We're going to be watching Tower. No.
Close, come on. Where are we going?
We're going...
David singing, don't say Tower, don't say Tower, don't say Tower.
We're going to be watching Dulwich Hamlet play Woking in what we think is the last away match for Woking at the Dulwich football ground. So it's going to be a very exciting thing. I'm going to learn a lot about live football and just the passion all the fans have for it.
But before we can take you on a school trip to learn more about football, you have to hand in your homework from last week,
to deserve it,
and also your permission slip signed by one of your parents.
Oh yeah, I got that.
Oh, good.
So, and also before we begin, just to remind everyone, if you like our podcast, please like and subscribe, or give us 5 points or whatever it is that people do to bring us up in the rankings. Tweet us at Dan. What was our at Offside Traps?
Yeah,
you finally learned it.
Yeah,
there you go.
So just like and hello to all our international listeners. Now, do you guys remember what my homework was?
The match of the day theme.
Match of the day.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of my homeworks. So the match of the day theme was the one that I didn't do last time round. So I've done that.
We gave you a second chance, didn't we?
Oh, and it was a name for the Tottenham Stadium.
A name for the Tottenham Stadium. So I've got 2 homeworks for the price of 2.
Yeah.
Good bargain, that.
So, first of all, I did learn the Match of the Day theme tune, and I recorded it. So, here we go.
Brilliant.
It's the extended version. The slut-based breakdown, of course, where they do the rundown.
And a bit more. It's okay.
You've done Match of the Day and Match of the Day 2 in this.
There you go.
Wow,
it's
very good.
Yeah. Now, the reason there was a bit of a bass riff in the middle there is because the actual Match of the Day theme tune has a bridge, and I used the bass, the core notes of that, and just did a bit of a bass solo. But it actually does have a trumpet solo.
Maybe that's the next homework. Learn the trumpet.
Learn the trumpet. Because I was listening to it. I don't know if you've ever thought about it in any great detail, but when you're just listening to the Match of the Day theme tune, it sounds very kind of Spanish. Very.
I just get excited to watch Match of the Day.
It's got a very continental influence, I think. Listen to the original 1970 version, and then you'll see what I mean.
It's got a real samba vibe.
Kind of, yeah, very samba and a bit naff. And I think without the images of football players playing,
you wouldn't know.
It's
not as inspirational.
It's not as inspirational, but I hope that will inspire some of our younger listeners to either get into football or play a different instrument from the bass guitar.
Or learn salsa or samba.
But yeah,
top marks. I think.
Well, yeah, top marks.
Good effort. I mean, you did 3 verses.
3 verses and a bridge. Yeah. So I've got 4 versions of that. So if people want to listen,
in case we get deleted.
If you're listening to Offside Traps Extra, then you can get access to all 4 versions for a subscription of
a modest fee.
Part 2 of your homework to name Tottenham's new stadium.
Right. So I've done a bit of research. So basically.
Your research always means open phone, go to notes.
So I've thought about this.
Football.
Now, I didn't really know too much about Tottenham before I started. I still don't really know too much about Tottenham because I was focusing on the stadium. But so, one possible name. And what I've done is I've got a couple of names, a few names, and I think you guys should pick the best one, right?
All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah? It's still unnamed at the moment, right? Is that the...
I mean, I think it might be called White Hart Lane currently. Or the new... Is it called that?
Or Tottenham Stadium.
Tottenham Stadium? It's definitely going to... They're definitely
It'll be called something.
naming rights.
Well, maybe someone will listen to this and think, wow, that's the one. So anyway, the first one, I thought, Lily White's. It's a sporting goods retailer because Lily White House is the name of Tottenham Hotspur's head office.
Right.
The
So
Lily,
you think they should...
The Lily White...
How much
Lily
money
White's.
do you think Lily White's, the sporting retailer, has to throw around on...
No, probably quite a lot. Maybe not. I don't know. Then the other one was I've got the Bobby Buckle Memorial Stadium. He was the leader of the group of schoolboys that started Hotspur Football Club on 5th of September 1882, and that's the club that Tottenham Hotspur is now.
That's quite a nice one.
That's nice, yeah.
The other one is Henry Hotspur Percy. He's a Henry Percy was a 14th century nobleman. He's a 14th century nobleman who fought in the Anglo-Scottish Wars. But he is apparently who the Tottenham Hotspur is named after, right? And as a tribute to his speed in advance and readiness to attack on the Scottish borders, the Scots bestowed him the name Hotspur, hence Hotspur.
Say that again in Scottish again.
Hotspur, Hatspore, and Mr. Percy or Lord Percy, whatever, he's Henry Percy KG. So that's quite that's a very official term. Like KG, it's like an OBE, but as high as you can get.
I'm on
kilograms. Anyway, but Henry Percy, he was also fond of cockfighting.
Whoa.
No, but that's why they have a cockerel on their crest.
That as well,
so it could be the Henry Percy Memorial Stadium, perhaps. Okay.
All right.
Another one. Then I thought, okay, well,
you really wanted to get full marks once.
So another one could be because then I thought, well, why don't? Because lots of stadia now are named after big corporations. The Arsenal one is named after Emirates, and that's the only one I know. But so then I was looking at the FTSE 100 list of companies. One of them's called Ferguson, named after, it could be quite a dig at, or after Alex Ferguson, the successful Man U manager. I thought that would be quite funny. That's a Swiss company, the self-proclaimed world's leading specialist distributor of plumbing and heating products, apparently.
Yeah.
So
a bit of success by association with Alex Ferguson.
Just for all the the people abroad that don't know what Tottenham Hotspur is, but they probably will know Man U and Alex Ferguson, maybe.
I see. Tap into a bit of Man United's international branding.
Alternatively, there's the Smurfit Kappa Group. Now they make containers and packaging, but I thought Smurfit because the Tottenham kit is blue in colour, so Smurfs.
But it's white.
Well, isn't there a away kit blue?
Yeah, but you're pushing that.
It's a stretch.
All right, but the last one I came up with is the memorable. It's the memorable BAE/CAE/RBS/RELX/SSE/WPP stadium. It's just,
was that their web address?
Yeah, this is the ever memorable, and it trips off the tongue so easily. It's just a lot of FTSE 100 companies with acronyms. So I thought that it would be quite amusing to have something that no one could pronounce or remember.
If they all combined to buy many rights.
Because I thought, BAE, that's air systems, CRH is construction, I think, ITV, TV, RBS, banks. Everyone needs banks.
Just hit all of the big staples. Get an airline. Get
RELX is analytics in the future. We'll probably Tottenham Hotspurs might want to know what their supporters are browsing. SSE is energy. Everyone needs that, and WPP advertising. So
covers all the bases.
Covers all the bases.
Oh.
So, and with a stadium that costs about £1 billion, you could probably do with a few, a little bit of money.
You might sign someone in a transfer window then, mightn't you?
Yeah. So anyway, of those, which one would you prefer?
I like the second one. The founding.
The schoolboy.
The schoolboy.
Yeah.
Billy Blank.
The Bobby Buckle.
Bobby Buckle.
Bobby Buckle.
Bobby Buckle.
Bobby Buckle.
Go down the Bobby Buckle. Sounds like Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah.
Don't know what for. That's a test for our listeners this week. If you could come up with what the Cockney rhyming slang for the new stadium name Bobby Buckle is, and send it back to us, we'll mention you in the next podcast. The cheeky Bobby Buckle. Very good work, Dave.
Yeah.
I think full marks.
I think full marks. He's finally done his homework.
He's nailed it.
Lovely.
Best ever performance. Yeah. Quite late in the season. It's like a genuine improvement. Your grade average has really gone up.
There you go.
Well done, you.
Thanks.
How long that will take you?
To say, I think that took just about half an hour, but to research, I don't know. It's, the bass playing took me a little while to figure out the notes and stuff. So that was about an hour. The research probably took another hour.
You should send it into
Tottenham. BBC.
Yeah. See if they want to change it up.
Sex it up a bit.
That's it.
Yeah.
Have you on the advert?
Just me.
Just do a bit of dancing.
Maybe.
If you do well enough, maybe they'll let you do some commentary or offer some analysis.
You're not far off.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant. We could do Dave's alternative commentary to a football match.
You'd be like an idiot abroad.
Maybe. It'd be good.
I think you'd be great, Dave.
Yeah.
You do your research.
Yeah.
You know all the players' names.
Just don't know what colour Spurs play.
Not what.
Yeah.
Tricky.
Do they not have blue?
They have blues and a white.
There you go. That's what
But you mainly, if we're talking about their stadium, they're playing home, so they were playing their white kit, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You say,
Oh, no, that adds up. Not quite enough research.
Not quite enough each.
But full marks still.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, then I think you've qualified to be allowed on today's trip.
Oh, yes.
So it's Bank Holiday Monday. We're about to go and see Dulwich Hamlet play Woking.
Why did you us for your morning, Dan?
I had a very stressful morning. I put this in the diary a while ago. I've been to Dulwich Hamlet a few times. Always buy a ticket on the turnstile. They're playing in the 7th league, I think, maybe lower.
Research, Dan.
I haven't done my research there exactly which league they're in. But they're playing, it's a non-league team. They're not professional. I've always been able to get a ticket, except for today, when I found out at probably 11:45 that tickets were being sold were being sold in advance, not on the internet, because they were doing segregated seats with Woking because it's going to be a busy one. Because you said Woking are going up. It's their last away game of the season, so they're bringing a lot of fans. It's Dulwich's last home game of the season, so they're going to have a big turnout. And they've decided to segregate the fans, which they don't normally do, which means they have to sell the tickets in advance and not on the turnstile, which apparently has caught a lot of people out. It certainly caught me out when I had to jump into an Uber to rush across... I say rush across town, it's only 10 minutes up the road. But to rush 10 minutes up the road and grab my ticket just before they stopped being on sale. And grab everyone's tickets just before they stopped being on sale. So it was pretty stressful. Some last minute tweeting to Dulwich Hamlet. Some frantic calling of a phone that was, I think, disconnected because
They're so busy selling tickets.
Well, exactly. It was frantic when I got there. But apparently it's caught a lot of people out because they do normally sell tickets on the door, but not today. We're lucky. We're in some of the most desirable tickets in London, in South London today.
Yeah.
So they were very helpful, weren't they? When you got
very lovely as well. Lovely. It's a lovely club, Dulwich Hamlet. It's a great place, great clubhouse.
Always on the lookout for sponsorship as well, this podcast. So
I don't think they've got any money. So
we'd have to sponsor them, is that?
I think we would have to sponsor Dulwich Hamlet. Dulwich Hamlet famously, so a good reason to support Dulwich Hamlet as a nice community club is they famously lost their stadium to developers earlier this year. And had to go and play at Tooting Stadium, and the developers who had bought the stadium up plans to kind of develop flats on the area but also keep the stadium, or at least they said they were going to keep the stadium, and then they decided to kick Dulwich Hamlet out. Also, as part of kicking them out, registered Dulwich Hamlet as a trademark so they could try and cease them from ever trading under their own name.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I mean, in what is good, really, it turns out you can't actually be that evil and get away with it. So the council said they were going to refuse planning permission on any works on the site, so it became completely worthless to them. And then they started the process of compulsory purchasing it back from the developers, so they would make a loss on their plans until they caved the sort of demands to readmit Dulwich Hamlet back into the stadium. So they're very happy now to be playing back at their actual home ground and not 15 minutes down the road.
Fantastic.
So they're very, very, in need of our funds.
Yeah.
But if Dulwich Hamlet do want to sponsor us, we wouldn't ask for much, just price for a pizza each week. It's basically all of our SoundCloud subscription.
Tickets.
Yeah, some kind of simpler way of being able to get a ticket without having to sprint at any point.
Or just simply some money.
Delicious.
You don't ask for a lot.
We are open. Please contact us via Twitter.
Dave can sort out a walking out theme tune. Something like that.
Perhaps more useful a legal defence the next time someone tries to take their stadium away.
Yeah.
We could create the Offside Traps stand.
Yeah. I think again we'd have to sponsor them at that point.
It's not all freebies though.
To name a stand. Yeah. I have noticed in the programs they've got the thing where you can sponsor a player for the season if you want, so you can have your name attached to one of their players
on his back as opposed to his own name.
Well, you don't wear it on yours.
Yeah.
You just...
Dave, have you been sponsoring players when you've been tattooing their names on your arm?
Full sleeve.
I wondered what that was about. I wonder why you got Burnsy written.
We could
the amount of clubs you get through as well.
What about we could have like the Dulwich Hamlet bookshelf in your flat?
What if they sponsored us?
They sponsored us, yeah. We could...
For the Dulwich Hamlet. Well, maybe a microphone. The Dulwich Hamlet microphone.
So will you be supporting the winner of today's game, or are you going to go with a team?
I might controversially support Woking because they're my most local team.
Local team.
They're my local.
Yeah. But I'm easily swayed. I mean,
As we've...
Dave has no loyalties to anyone.
Depending on, the colour of the shirts or if they summon smiles at you.
Yeah.
Get thumbs up for a
or
play.
just winning.
Yeah. Anything
Who's
can
the
happen.
underdog in this match?
I think Dulwich.
Dulwich,
would probably be.
Woking is second in the league. Dulwich is safe. I think they're 14th.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I think Dulwich they've had a couple of away wins going into this match, so they've got quite good form, but they are definitely lower down the table. I think when they came back to their stadium after losing access to it, no work had been done on the ground in the meantime, so the grass had all kind of just grown up, and it was a bit disastrous for the first few matches they played back there because they had to just sort of...
Should have just cut it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? Hire a groundsman, you idiots. Just can't see each other.
I mean, one of their fans must have a lawnmower.
He won't sponsor you, though.
If you're the one Dulwich Hamlet fan who owns a lawnmower, do you want to put slap offside traps on that?
Put some brand on the handle.
But pay us for it? We are open. Once again, our tweets, our DMs are open. Contact us. Dave will be negotiating the contract and he's a legal eagle. Dulwich Hamlet have got a very loose connection to the podcast, which I might say, we've mentioned it before, but I might save it for the quiz. So see if you can remember it throughout the day.
Yeah.
We all...
Oh, do we want to do that?
This is
the Premier League finished a couple of weeks ago, didn't it?
as far as
it's just
I mean, there is one. Well, if there's one quick team update, it's that Fulham, having been relegated, are now inexplicably brilliant. So why wouldn't you? What's the best time to start playing? When you're mathematically down.
Well, is it because the league that they're entering are quite bad and they're like the best?
No, but they're not playing those teams yet. They're still finishing out the season in the Premier League, Dave. Yeah. You don't go instantly down. But they beat Everton at home. Everton have been quite good. Beat Bournemouth away at Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been very good at their ground.
Maybe they want to, put fear into the next new league's eyes.
Or just the pressure's off a bit as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a famous thing, isn't it? The teams playing better once the pressure's off, either because they're not going to win the league or they're not going to.
Well, they're saying that, the pressure's off with United being out of Europe and we still lost 4-0 to Everton yesterday. So had our first shot on target in the 85th minute. That's a horrendous stat.
Mourinho-like.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of players coming and going.
Yeah, Solskjaer came out and said that he will be successful at the club, whether he will or not. I think he will be, but he said a lot of the players that are playing won't be at that club to share in that success. He just called them all out yesterday, saying that
he just needs people who want to be there, doesn't he?
Yeah. There's going to be a big clear out in the summer. Excuse the term, but there'll be. Yeah. That's it for us. I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
Arsenal inexplicably losing to Dave's 15 Palace.
Yes.
That one.
They played very well against Napoli in midweek.
Yeah.
And there was a few knocks, so I think because it's every single game is now very important. I think Emery was he rested a few players. We started with Mustafi, which is never a good thing. El Neni and Carl Jenkinson all started.
Carl Jenkinson. He's one of those players where I'm surprised when I hear that he still exists. I feel like he should be 45.
Yeah.
I really like Carl Jenkins.
He was passionate the other week, wasn't he, after the game? I can't remember which game it was. He came out.
He's living the dream as well because he's an Arsenal fan and he's got a plaque outside the Emirates. I think it says it's to his granddad and it says that he's done it and living the dream playing for Arsenal. So I can't begrudge him hanging about, because he's, he said when he scored his first goal for Arsenal, he said he'd scored that goal hundreds of times in his back garden growing up,
Yeah,
so,
that's nice, isn't it? A bit of passion, and he's also getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
but,
fair play. Yeah,
that was one of Wenger's last acts, just to put him on a 12-year contract. Carl, I like you.
You're in.
What about which team do you want to give us an update on this week?
Well, it's the end of the season, isn't it?
Nearly.
Yeah. Oh, they're all doing so well / badly / mediocre. Insert team.
Have you looked out for any results recently?
I was so busy researching the team names and learning the match of the day theme tune that it just got on top of me.
Fair enough. I think most of your Brighton flirting with relegation.
Are they?
You're like fourth team.
Liverpool were his team for a little bit. They're still going for the title.
Yeah.
Palace beat Arsenal. I'm surprised you haven't given Flan a bit of banter over that.
Yeah.
Oh, they were your first team, weren't they? So
Burnley are playing Chelsea tonight.
Yeah. So lots
going
Lots to play for.
And of course Woking today.
Woking. Let's up the Woking.
The Dayfend Mini League.
Yeah.
And normally, the last away game of the season, as we said, it's a fancy dress thing. So what are you planning to go to the game in today? Are you going to dress up? Or?
I didn't bring any fancy dress outfit. Did you guys bring fancy dress?
Well, no, because we're obviously
supporting
the home team,
so
it's fancy dress for the away.
Dan, do you have any costumes?
You can come dressed, fancy dress as me. By just wearing my clothes.
Dan, do you have a Fulham kit? I could wear a Fulham shirt.
I do have a Fulham shirt.
Fancy dress as a Fulham supporter.
I feel like I'm wearing a team shirt who are not playing, who are not like an international team or a foreign team. It's pretty bold, but why don't we could probably get you a Dulwich Hamlet scarf when we get down there. It's pretty warm, so you'd be fancy dressed as someone who's cold, and then also fancy dressed as a Dulwich Hamlet fan when you're a Woking fan.
Yeah. Oh, it's a flawless plan.
Keep an eye out for one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should probably get get going.
Get to the game, yeah.
Remember everyone to have a quick. If everyone needs a Bobby Buckle before we go down the
Right, and we're back from Dulwich Hamlet versus Woking. Dave, give us your match report.
Well, it was an amazing match. It was interesting. We lost. Well, we lost. Dulwich Hamlet lost.
New team.
New team.
4-15.
Yeah. Dulwich Hamlet lost 3-1.
Yeah, that was
3-1. Yeah. But Woking were a formidable side. They were from the off. They were, the more impressive team. They had quite a few good players. Everyone was so tall. A little taller in real life than in fake life. But it was an impressive match, and also it was just nice watching the match in that kind of setting. It was like quite an intimate match. So there was 2,600 people, and it was just quite nice, like watching the match with those people, and it's quite close, very intimate. There was lots of kids there. There were even 3 or 4 dogs that we saw.
At least 4 dogs.
At least 4 dogs. And it was just really nice. The whole vibe was excellent. But whether or not it was because of
bank holiday.
There are a few reasons. It was Woking's last away game. It was the last match of the season. It was a bank holiday. It was very sunny. It was just very nice. But
perfect storm.
The perfect storm. So I don't know whether it would have been as impressive
on a cold Tuesday night.
On a cold Tuesday night when it was pissing with rain. But
do you think you'll be taking in some Woking games next season?
Yeah, possibly. They were quite a good team. Yeah. Although if they go up in the league to the next league, then who knows? The tickets might be too expensive for me. So.
Price you out the market.
Yeah.
Like, you know what they say about the 5th league of football? It's an expensive one.
And I like the fact that Dulwich Hamlet had a nice bar where you could just sit and just quite stand, and it was quite spacious, and you could watch everything from there.
Tap water was best toilet tap.
They actually had
I've ever experienced in any ground.
Tap water in the toilets.
Yeah, straight
nice.
out.
And
lovely
hand dryers that actually dried your hands.
Yeah.
So swings and roundabouts.
10 out of 10 for
Yeah.
hosting.
Amenities.
Yeah.
Got change out of £20 for 4 drinks.
That is quite good.
Not
in
much
football
change,
grounds.
but it was change.
Still, yeah.
They're in the 6th division of the Football League. We're in the Hand Dryer League.
Yeah.
Top tier.
So, no, but all in all, it was a really pleasurable, lovely experience. It was great. Yeah.
Oh, good.
What did you guys think of it?
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought
really good,
the level of football, Woking were the better team, but although the pitch looked good, it looked quite bobbly, which I think puts the players under quite a bit of pressure, because you don't realise from afar when you're watching that it's like that. But some good goals. Dulwich's goal was an absolute rocket, so it was good day out.
Which I missed because I was looking in the wrong direction.
I mean, the pitch is always in the same area, so you should really...
You were literally turned around at that point.
Yeah. But there you go.
It came quite late on.
No screens for replays, unfortunately.
Bit of feedback.
Yeah.
Dulwich. Have you
Still a big screen.
What
was the highlight, Dave?
The highlight, when Dulwich Hamlet scored, because it was like the 80th minute or 89th minute, 90th minute. It was quite good because they had 3 goals before then. So it was good. Yeah, it was amazing, really good. I would highly recommend it.
Great,
very good.
Well.
Yeah.
I think that summarises it quite well,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I mean, it seems like you're really paying attention.
Yeah.
But
Which caught us all off guard, really. Good day out, though. Good day out.
Yeah.
We'll have to now test how much attention you're paying, because it's time for your quiz.
Right. So, question 1. What player connects Dulwich Hamlet with the Offside Traps podcast?
I can't remember. And I've been thinking about this since we left before the match, but I honestly can't remember. It's not Ian Wright, is it?
It is
Bingo.
Ian Wright. Dave, is this it?
What a guy.
There you go.
High fives all round.
Slow clap.
Yeah, high fives, not slow claps.
Right, yeah, man, that's good.
Really? He played in the Hamlet?
Yeah, before Palace.
Wow, there you go.
He's starting the non-league. Which is what we were saying about the very good Woking winger.
Yeah.
About how he might get a chance to step up. As that's Ian Wright's an example of how it happened.
Wow. Okay.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
your second question.
Yeah.
What is the name of that very good Woking winger?
Is he called Reece Alisani?
Oh my day!
Slow claps all round.
High five, not slow clap.
Wow. This is
Game changer.
unprecedented.
We're only 2 questions in, lads.
Yeah,
Come on,
but-
don't
alright.
don't jinx it.
That was really good. So,
We were talking about him quite a lot of the match.
Yeah.
Well, he was
Because despite his height deficiency, he was actually pretty good.
notably better than
Yeah.
everyone else
Yeah,
on
really
the pitch, I think.
I'll say, no offence to Mr. Alisani, but he was just noticeably shorter than all his compatriots.
and better.
And better.
And better.
Yeah. No offence to all the working players.
What you've done there is you've offended all of the tall people. You can get your head kicked in.
You're in lawyer mode.
Okay, so question 3. What was today's attendance?
Was it 2,644?
Oh! So close. You forgot that we were there. It was 2,648.
You did it without us.
I was imagining what life would have been like in the alternate universe, but Dan didn't get to.
Well, I didn't manage
You
to
counted everyone else in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
turn
It's
around
an easy mistake to make.
That's why I was looking in the other direction when the goal was scored.
again. Just finishing your head count.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's time for your art round.
Okay.
The art round.
Yeah.
So, using this picture of a belt buckle for reference,
Yeah.
can you draw us a picture of Bobby Buckle? What Bobby Buckle might have looked like? Little Bobby Buckle.
Moving around.
Don't know if he was a little or not.
Right, well, while you get on with drawing Little Bobby Buckle, I guess we can set you your homework.
Yeah, so Dave, in time for the next podcast, we'd like you to give us a season review of your new first choice team, Woking. Now, it doesn't have to be too wordy, but yeah, give us a paragraph or 5 minutes or so on how their season's been.
Okay. We do.
And I can see where you've referenced the buckle on this.
It's coming along nicely.
Today's pitch is looking
Kicking
great.
an Edam by the look of it. Yeah.
Kicking an Edam to death. He's already stamped it, he's punching it.
Yeah,
One
happy
really
fellow.
swollen
Yeah,
foot.
that's very. Yeah.
He's got his studs on,
He
so
looks
that's
happy
good.
though.
He does.
He does look
He's
happy.
happy. Yeah.
Right, so we'll post that up on Twitter, and if you're on Twitter, you'll need to know the name of the podcast of this week's episode, and
It's probably Bobby Buckle.
it's probably Bobby Buckle. It's got to be Bobby
What about
Buckle.
Henry Percy?
Henry Percy is a good one.
Henry Percy's a good one, but
We'd all forgotten that.
we-
So.
I think it's Bobby Buckle.
Or what about the incomprehensible but memorable
That's
name?
long.
What is it?
You don't even know
I can't
yourself.
remember
No one's going to
myself.
type that in.
I think the stadium name,
All the
which,
slashes and
which
dashes.
was hang on. Thinking back up. I'll find it.
I think for legal reasons we shouldn't use the FTSE 100's index references name.
But what about it just trips off the tongue. The BAE/CHR/RTV/RBS/RELX/SSE/WPP Memorial Stadium.
I think it's
I
a
don't
close
think
it's a
you
close
need a certain amount
second.
of characters as well, don't
Yeah.
you, to be able to put,
We need people to be able to talk to us as well as put in the hashtag.
What about
Yeah.
hashtag Alex Ferguson?
I think now you have to remember this, that is a joke that happened entirely off of the podcast.
No, because I mentioned it.
And also you called him Alan Ferguson at the time.
For the podcast listeners who are wondering what this is about, I saw a biography in a charity shop whilst we were waiting for the bus to go to Dulwich Hamlet, and it was Alex Ferguson's biography from when he won the treble, and I mistakenly called him Alan Ferguson. But we were quite glad that we didn't buy that biography, because when we got to Dulwich Hamlet there was a second-hand book sale that had a later biography, so
That's something you don't get at Man United Premier League games.
Book sales.
There's never a second-hand book sale.
Yeah, that book would have been full price in the mega store.
well,
And
exactly.
they probably wouldn't have had the biographies of Roy Keane and other distinguished players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to go with hashtag Bobby Buckle because you've not sold me on
No lily whites. No.
no. So if you want to talk about this episode on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, please use the hashtag Bobby Buckle. And you can also use the hashtag Bobby Buckle if you want to tell us what a Bobby Buckle is in Cockney rhyming slang. We're coming up with some ideas, but I don't think there's any that we could legally say out loud. So let us know that, and of course like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review on iTunes, which apparently will let other people find us and see how good we are. And the international shout outs. Saw that we had a listener this week from Oman, so hello in Oman if you're listening again this week.
That's amazing.
So yeah, hello in Oman, and goodbye. Bye
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, ready? Set.
Sorry, I was just doing it.
I'm going to stop and start again.